Welcome to Slash Bash, where today I am bringing you another Am I the Butthole Reddit video. In our first story, am I the butthole for making my son live cheaply? Let's jump right in. I honestly can't believe I'm posting this, but here we go. So my ex gives me a generous amount of child support every month, and I use about 20 to 30% of it, maybe. I'm very good at budgeting since my mom raised me on her own and we always stuck to a strict budget. My ex grew up being overindulged and knowing he would never have to worry about money in his lifetime, so we have different ideas of what living cheaply looks like. Recently, my ex wanted to have a word with me because he didn't like the fact that I made our son walk home from school. He wanted to know why I wouldn't buy a car and offered me money to get one when I told him cars were expensive and I thought it was a waste of money. I told him no, since I would rarely use it. He then told me to take an Uber home instead of making him walk. Again, I told him no, and he brought up all of the other ways he thought I was making our son live cheaply. For example, I didn't buy him new football boots or a goal when he started getting into football. He is only 4. I buy him cheap clothes. I rarely take him to eat out, and if we go to a toy shop, I only let him get one thing and it can't be super expensive. My ex wanted to know what I was using all of the money he gave to me on, if I was raising our son like this, so I explained. I never used most of it, but kept it in a separate account for either a rainy day or for our son. Now he's angry at me for making our son live cheaply and essentially told me to stop saving and actually give our son the things he wants now because he had already made sure our son would be fine in the future. Am I the butthole? Here's an edit. I was trying to avoid editing the post, but since so many people are asking me to by asking me the same question over and over again, of course, my 4-year-old son doesn't walk home alone from school. I drop him off and then pick him up. The teacher only lets him leave the building after she sees me. Also, it's a 25-minute walk for anyone who cares. Story number 2. Am I the butthole for having my neighbor's vehicles towed? In my neighborhood, the homes have a garage which has room for one vehicle and a driveway with room for a second. I'm visually impaired with no sight, so I don't have a vehicle. A friend stopped by and thought I already had company because there was a vehicle in my driveway. Luckily, she had been jogging, otherwise she wouldn't have had anywhere to park since that vehicle was in my driveway and was blocking the garage. It was still there when she left. She wrote a note saying this is private property and to please move and not park there. The vehicle was still parking there. Another friend of mine put up a no parking sign. My next door neighbor saw the sign, said the vehicle belonged to Jane, who's a neighbor from across the street. I went over and asked Jane to not park there. Jane said her fiance just moved in and because Jane already had 2 vehicles, because one is hers for her work, she is apparently self-employed, they needed somewhere for the 3rd vehicle, and I'm not using my driveway, so they are using it. I'll note here that neither Jane nor her fiance ever asked if they could use my driveway. They just went ahead. If I could see, I obviously would have noticed right away, but I had no idea. My next-door neighbors on either side of me thought I was doing them a favor, since Jane's been parking there for months. I also found out from them that Jane's fiance parked in my driveway before she moved in when she visited. My job just recently went fully remote, and my company has given up our office space completely. Before they sold our office space this summer, I still had to go into work. Jane's fiance works a different shift, so I didn't know. I told Jane she didn't have permission and I sent her a registered letter too. She still parked there, so I got a tow truck to come. Jane got angry at me and she said that she will take me to court to get the fees back. A week after Jane's vehicle was towed, I fell going to my mailbox because there was a car parked in the driveway and I bumped into it. It was Jane's fiance's personal car. She parked in my driveway because Jane didn't want her work vehicle to be towed again. Jane is saying she'll take me to court for the fees for this tow too. She also said that it's my fault I fell because I didn't have my white cane. I never use it on my own property, and I'm overreacting because no one is using my driveway, so they should be able to. The police came when I fell because an ambulance came, and they told Jane and her fiancé to stop parking here. Apparently, they can't afford the fees, so the towing company still has Jane's fiancé's car. Jane and her fiancé say I'm a horrible neighbor, prick, etc., not letting them use the driveway and causing them these headaches. I don't feel like the butthole in this situation, but I can't drive and I don't really understand the importance of having a vehicle. A few of my acquaintances have agreed with Jane and said I'm a massive prick for calling the tow trucks. I'd like honest opinions from people with no stake in this. Story number 3. Am I the butthole for wanting my friend to stop pretending I am her husband? I am a 28-year-old male. My coworker and friend Amber, a 26-year-old female, usually go on work trips alone and spend the night in different cities and hotels. Our friendship is purely platonic, and we never did anything sexual or romantic at all. I have a girlfriend, a 27-year-old female, but Amber is single and is always having casual sex with guys she meets on our trips. Our routine is that after we end our work for the day, we go to a bar or something so that she can find some men. She likes me being there to protect her when she is hunting, but there has never been a problem that required me to intervene. One morning she told me something new. Apparently, the man she had sex with the night before thought that I was her husband or boyfriend, and she didn't correct him. She liked the idea of the men she was with thinking I was her husband and wanted to do more of that. I didn't say anything because I thought she was joking. That night, when a waitress came to take our drinks order at the bar, she referred to me as her husband. I was shocked but didn't say anything. Later, she left with a man and I saw the waitress looking at me and smiling. The next day I told Amber to never do that again because I have a girlfriend, but she said that she already asked my girlfriend about this and she was okay with it. I told her that she still shouldn't do it. She told me I was crazy and we argued more. Am I the butthole? Story number 4. Am I the butthole for refusing to switch seats on the plane? I am the type of person that wants to get off the plane quickly, so I booked an aisle seat for row 2 of the plane. This way I can disembark the second the doors were open. I got on the plane and sat in my seat. Then somebody who had the 2 seats to the left of me asked me to move in and sit near the window instead. This is because they wanted to have the aisle seat to talk to their friends on the other side of the aisle. I said no because I paid for the aisle seat for a reason. My parents were collecting me from the airport and I needed to be off quickly. They kept asking and I refused to budge. At no point were voices raised. The stewardess then came over and told me I had to move or I would be ejected from the plane. I then sat next to the window. The people that sat next to me then sat in their seat when the plane landed. The result was that I was one of the last people to get off the plane. I paid £20 to be the first to get off the plane, but I was threatened with being removed and I got off the plane last. Am I the butthole for refusing to move? This is John from /bash. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed the video and want to be the first to know when the next one drops, then subscribe and click on that notifications bell. I'd love for you to drop a like, share it with your friends, and I'll see you in the next one.